Hello everyone, this is another Mr. P How Do We video, and in this video we're going to be looking at my 12 top tips for getting Google Meet up and running in your blended learning classroom. Come and have a look. So before we get started on Google Meet, the first and most important thing to realise and remember is that Google Meet and the features we're going to discuss today only work on Internet Explorer, Microsoft Edge, or on a Google Chrome browser. So please make sure that you're on the right browser. If you're trying to use Safari on Mac, you may find that some of these features aren't going to work. So if you want to be completely safeguarded, make sure you use the browsers that I've just mentioned. So to get to Google Meets, you're going to go to Google, make sure that you're signed in to your Google account, and then you're going to head to the waffle at the top here. So that's the 9 squares, which is like your little menu bar. Now if you click on there, you want to be looking for the icon that's called Meet, the little video camera, and you're going to click on there. Now once you've clicked on there, that will take you through then to your Google Meet. So this is where we're going to start talking about those 12 tips for being a master of Google Meet as part of your blended learning experience. So step 1, you've got to Google Meet. You're going to start now by joining or starting your meeting. So quite simply, click on the join or start meeting here, and then you'll need to give your meeting a name. So we'll call this training, as that's what we're doing, a little bit of training here. Click on continue, and that will then take you through to your meeting. So here I am, I'm ready to go on my meeting, and I've already built in step number 1 for this Google Meet top tips. So number 1 top tip for you is making sure that you have blurred your background, or you've got a background that's different to the one that's behind you. Okay, you want to safeguard yourself. You don't want anyone looking into your home. So make sure you've got that background nice and blurred or with a different picture. Now to do that, you're going to click on this button here. Okay, it says change background. If you click onto there, that will then give you a range of drop-down options for your background. You can go for a slight blur, I won't show you that. You can go for a full blur, like so, or then you can choose from a range of different backgrounds. Make sure that you choose something that is suitable for your lesson or for your children and so on. So I'm just going to go for the green fish for my lesson. So there's step 1, blurring your background is the most important thing. Okay, once you've blurred your background, you're ready then to start your lesson, your training, or your video, whatever it is that you're doing. So to do that then, you're going to click on join now, and that will then open up your meeting for you. Step 2 then, and the most important, or the second most important thing then, is to copy the joining info, that is the link to the meeting that you are about to hold. So to do that, very simply, you've got a button here that says copy joining info. If you click on that, that meeting link then will go to your clipboard, and you can use that then, post it wherever you need to. But I wouldn't post it to any children yet, because there's another step that we need to make sure that we've covered, and that's step 3. Step 3 then is to make sure that you have sent this joining info to another adult in your school first before you send it out to the children. It's really, really important that you safeguard yourselves, and that any online live stream or meeting that you do with children involved, you have another adult present in that meeting. So what I've just copied, you bring it in an email or a Teams message or anything that you need to another adult, that person who's joining your meeting, and then they'll be able to join in your meeting. And once they've done that, they'll then be able to join. Once they've joined, the next thing you want to do then is post that link into Google Classroom, Seesaw, ClassDojo, whatever platform that you use to do your blended or your home learning. Once that link has gone out into the stream for your children, they will then be able to access this meeting. And that will lead you on to step number 5, which is preparing to mute all the children as they enter. Now, unfortunately, Google Meet doesn't have an option to mute the children before they enter the meeting. So it's important that you are ready to mute them as they join. And this is how you do that. So to mute any participant in a meeting, you're going to need to head up to the participants button up here at the top. So if you click on here, it will show everyone, and it will show you all the different people that are in that call. Now to mute them is very, very simple. You can see next to their name there are 3 dots Okay, click on the three dots and then it will ask you to mute them, and then they are mute. So you will no longer be able to hear any voices. What you don't want is 30 children joining the meeting all at the same time, lots of voices, lots of talking. You need to make sure they're mute to start off with so you can set the guidelines, set the parameters for your meeting or your lesson so they understand when and when they cannot join in or talk in the lesson. So step 6, everyone is in the meeting now, you're ready to go. The next step that I would look at is the host controls. So again, you can head up to the top here, click on show everyone, and then you've got the host controls button here on the right hand side. If you click onto here, it will give you some options. At the moment, it's saying that everyone can share their screen and everyone can chat in the chat box at the top there. Now, if you don't want those settings to be on, all you simply need to do is click onto these buttons here, turn them off, and those features will not be available for the children in your lesson. So what you really need to make sure you do is make sure you're happy with exactly what those controls are. If you want them chatting and sharing answers, then please keep that on. If you want them to be able to share their screen, maybe share a piece of work and you can talk about it together and unpick it, then you can have the share screen option on as well. So step 6, host controls, making sure you know what they are and whether you want them on or off. So halfway there, but now we're on to step 7 of our how to become a master of Google Meets ready for your home or blended learning experiences. So the next thing, and probably one of the most important things you might want to do, is record the lesson that you are delivering to the children. Now, some children will be able to access the meetings at exactly the right time. Other children may have a range of devices in the house, may only have one they have to share. So recording the meeting is really important so you can share exactly what has been shared with the other children in the class. So to do that, you're going to navigate yourself to the bottom right-hand corner of the screen and click on the three dots here. That will then bring up another menu where there are lots of different options. If you go to the record meeting button, very, very simply click on here. It will then ask you for consent, so you'll need to let everyone know in the meeting that you are recording it, and then you'll need to click on the accept button. Once you do that, then it will say recording will start soon, and you will know that the recording has started because in the top corner you will see a button that says record. This will then record everything that you say on the screen, and then when you're happy to finish, you go back to the three dots, click on stop recording, and then that will send that recording straight to your Google Drive. So you can use that recording, drop it into Google Classroom, Class Dojo or Seesaw for your other children who weren't able to access it. You will also get an email afterwards with a link to that recording as well. So that's step 7, recording the lesson so that everyone can have access to it at any time. Okay, so step number 8 now is tools for the children to use as part of your lesson. Now earlier we discussed muting the children so that when they were in the meeting they weren't all talking over each other and you didn't have lots of noise going on at once. So just like you would in the classroom, they have the opportunity to raise their hand, and that's very, very simple. All you will need to do is direct them to the raise hand button at the bottom. If you click on here, you will then get a notification that a child in your meeting or your lesson has asked to say something or join in on the discussion. Once they've then spoken to you or you've directly spoken to them, you can then ask them to lower their hand and then that notification will disappear. So it's a very, very simple way of managing the classroom, albeit online, by just using the raise hand function. Step 9, and this is a great, great step in terms of that everyone will be able to access the learning that you're providing them on that day. Now, some children may have problems or issues with sound on their laptops, computers. The turn on captions button is a great way of everyone having access to that lesson. So right next to the raise your hand button, you've got turn on captions. Now, if you turn on captions, what you will then see is everything that I'm saying should then start to come up underneath the video, and this will be then for the children as well. Now, it's fairly accurate. Sometimes it may be the odd word out here or there. So it's really important that you get your diction right just so that it picks up everything that you're saying. Because if you start, it doesn't really understand what you're saying. Okay, so you can see there exactly what I've said has come up as part of those captions. So that step is really, really important, allowing access to everyone who joins in with that lesson. Okay, step number 10 now, we're almost there, is presenting your screen. Now, you may have prepared a Google Slides, a presentation, you may have a picture or a story to share with the children, and to do that, you'll need to present your screen. So the bottom right hand corner again, next to the captions button, you've got the present now button. If you click on here, you'll then have three options to share your entire screen, just the window that you're looking at, or one of the tabs on your browser. So you'll need to decide which one is best for you, making sure that if you're using a personal device that you're not going to be showing something that you wouldn't want the children to see, i.e. a background picture of your family or anything like that. So make sure that before you start your meeting, you have a look at those present buttons and choose which one is going to be best for you. So there we have step 10, presenting your screen. Step 11, the penultimate one, and that is sharing a whiteboard with the children. So on the right hand side again, if you go to the more options button, which is the three dots, right at the top then you can open a whiteboard. Now this whiteboard is a bit like Jamboard. For those of you who have used Jamboard, this is how you can get to it. Those of you who haven't used Jamboard, we'll be doing a video on Jamboard at a later date, so please come and check that one out. So if you have a Jamboard set up, click on the choose from drive button. That will then take that jam and pop it in for you. Or if you start on a new whiteboard, this will then open up a new tab for you to be able to share your screen with the children. What you can do then is you can click on the share button, you can get the link, copy that link and put it into the chat on your meeting. Okay, and then this whiteboard acts then as a whiteboard like it would do in school. So what you can do is you can change the background, so you've got some dots, you can have lines, you can have squares if you're doing a maths lesson, or you can put your own image in. What you can then do is sticky note things onto the board, so you can ask children to drop a response to a text or anything on a sticky note and it'll pop up on the screen. You can add your own images, you can pop circles in, or your own text box. So it's a really handy tool for modelling and showing the children what your expectations are in terms of responses and what they're learning. So step 12, the final step on the way to becoming a Google Meet master for your home or blended learning experience. And this one is possibly the most important one. And that is at the end of your lesson, you need to make sure that all the children have left your meeting before you hang up the call. What you don't want to do is leave any children left there. You don't know what's going to happen in that time. So you can monitor that by going to the show everyone button by here. You'll see all the children in the call by here, and as they leave, their names will disappear. Once they've all gone and you're happy, check with the other adult that they're happy to end the call, and then head over to the leave call button in the middle of your screen. So there we have it in a very small nutshell, the 12 top tips that I could give you on how to be a Google Meet master. For any more tips and tricks, please go to the website, which is going to come up below now. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that it's been useful.